Hey guys, on today's episode Beyond the Chair, it's going to be with Hassan Saleh, owner of Kravat. He told us a lot of fashion, a lot of business stories, which amazing. I'm sure you guys are going to get a lot of benefit from it. Stay tuned to watch this video. Welcome to Beyond the Chair with Hassan Saleh, owner of Kravat. You know, he gotta stay classy. He never liked the fade. He liked it, but he always liked it classy. Okay, Hassan, we done with him. We need you to tell us how did you first started with the fashion world?
I grew up around very stylish men. My grandpa was a very stylish man. He worked in textile, and watching him dress, watching him go about his daily routines, always looking sharp, classy, I've always admired that. I've always wanted to be in that business. And at a young age, I was always wearing suits, always wanted to look good, looking up to him. And as the days went by, and this is where I ended up.
Man, what's crazy about it, Hassan, I don't know why, you always, whatever you wear, like you look $1 million. How you make that? Like that question always in my head. Like whatever you wear, look.
It's like we say you in Arabic, you look murattab.
Yes.
Like you put it together nicely.
Whatever clothes you wear, you look like, how you put that fit?
Confidence is key. How I feel is key. Every day I dress different. Some days I feel, it's how I feel, how I dress.
So like, would you say it's more important not what you wear, but how you wear it?
Exactly.
Yeah?
Exactly.
So like the confidence.
Biggest part is being confident in what you put on.
How important is the way we look? You know, like.
It's the first thing people see before they talk to you, before they engage with you in any conversation, before anything else. They judge you by how you look.
And you're in a position where, you know, we're going to talk about it later on, but you do realistically help a lot of people put together a look. Right?
100%.
So where do your inspirations come from? You know, do you go to magazines? Do you follow certain influencers?
Don't believe me when I tell you I don't watch fashion shows. I've always looked at GQ magazines, but it was more to read the articles, because I've always liked fashion.
Like follow trends and
but
stuff.
For years, it's always been about, I'm trying to find the word for it.
You're trying to bring out the character of the person.
Bring his personality out.
So
you can wear something and not be confident in it. It doesn't do you well. Certain colors don't bring out your character. Everybody has a style that fits them better. So the first thing I look at is I look at a person and I see what can make him look his best. So this suit might not look good on you, might not look better on you. Certain bodies are different.
That's what I was gonna ask you that question. Like, what makes the suit like pop out?
I always go by personality. It's very important. Some people will tell you wear this, but if you're not confident and comfortable in it, it's gonna bring a different version of you. So to me, you gotta be comfortable in your own skin, number one, and you gotta dress accordingly.
So on that point, I don't know if you remember me, but I came to your store, I want to say about 16, 17 months ago. I remember because I'd put a budget in mind. As one of my very close friends was getting married. And I like expensive suits. I don't wear suits often. You very rarely see me in them. But sometimes, you know, when you're meeting someone like, or you're going to a wedding, or you're going some like particular, you know, you gotta look the part. So, you know, I'm thinking I'm gonna go buy a Tom Ford suit. Okay, so I'm on my way to Bloomfields now. People know where West Bloomfield is. Okay, so I'm going there now. And then I stopped by your shop. I don't know why I stopped by your shop. But I stopped by your shop, I came in and we had a conversation. And you didn't know that I was going in to buy a suit, whatever, but the whole conversation started with, you sound like you're from London. And real story right now, I ended up buying, I think, 6 or 7 suits for the same price as Tom Ford. And I like every one of them just as much as, because, see, for
You
me,
don't have to break the bank to wear
to
a
get a
nice suit.
suit, right?
Fabric is important. You gotta
Yes.
understand the fabric, the quality. It makes a big difference. But the fit is key.
Now-
The tailoring is important. And
I want to have that conversation because I'm trying to see. This is why I want to get to a point. This with you, yeah. Because for me, when someone says to me, Hassan, I say, "Who's Hassan?" They say, "Oh, he owns Kravat." That to me doesn't represent you. I'll be really honest. Like when I met you as a person, that first encounter, I think I would introduce you as a stylist. I would introduce you as a person.
He is a stylist.
Real talk. You understand me? Because when I came in, you asked me very personal questions. Where you going? Who's it for?
it's important.
How important it is.
It's important. There's certain. I mean, you don't want to be overdressed to certain occasions. You don't want to be underdressed for certain occasions. That's very important. You can't be wearing shiny loafers
Yeah.
to an outdoor event. And some people make that mistake. Some people don't know. They need someone to guide them. 80% of my business, a customer comes in my store, tells me where he's going and what his budget is.
What's the biggest mistake people make when they need to buy in a suit? Like I'm coming to your, everybody like to buy a suit, you like to look good, but they don't know.
Some people don't know. Some people don't know fashion. It's not their area of expertise. Maybe they don't go out a lot. Maybe they just don't care.
But you have people like, no, I need to wear this. No, this one I think look good on you.
I'll try to talk you out of something if I feel it doesn't look good on you.
Real talk.
It's important to be comfortable, but sometimes too much comfort, you can. That didn't sound good, but whatever.
No, we're doing Arabi. Yeah, well, on. Yeah, continue. That wasn't Arabi, but yeah.
You have to work with your body, with your style.
You're
Your
right.
personality is very important.
Yeah.
100%.
I can't walk into a wedding wearing a red suit and a shiny gold tie. It's not who I am.
Yes, like whatever you do, it's kind of like mine. Like a lot of people will bring me a picture. Hey, I need same that picture.
It might
Okay.
not suit you.
Yeah.
So you don't have same hair.
You don't have same face.
You don't have same head shape. What fits you, I'm gonna tell him what fits you.
Exactly. Honesty is key. I'm always honest with them.
That's what I do.
If it's something that I don't think it's gonna look good, I'm gonna tell you. I'm not just trying to sell you a suit.
Yes, because people gonna see it.
We work in a community where everybody knows everybody. Reputation is everything.
100%.
If I do you right, you're gonna come back. If I just try to sell you a suit for the sake of selling you a suit or anything for that matter, I'm doing you injustice.
Every time someone was going to get married, I always sent them your way. Like honestly,
So you remind me one thing. I always tell any barber, any type of business guy, I always, when I finish like with my clients, all I think in my head, I'm gonna post that on social media. I'm gonna get 1 or 2 from social media clients, and that guy, the one I cut, he gonna go out. Of course, he has 1 friend or 2 friends. He gonna be next to them. I want them to ask, who cut your hair? So I got 2 clients from this guy. I always put it in my head. I mean, different, like it's just different products. You do like suits, all that design. I'm a barber. It's just different products.
Exactly.
So like what you're saying is like, both of you are in an industry where
I mean, every business.
Your number one branding is the guy that's going to walk out your shop.
Exactly.
Because people go and look at him.
And these people are trusting you. They're trusting you for their big day, for their wedding, for
Job interviews, whatever it might be.
I treat every customer when I'm putting something together like I'm gonna wear it. I'm not gonna be able to wear every suit in my store. I'm not gonna be able to wear every shirt in my store. I'm not gonna be able to wear every shoes in my store. But when I'm dressing you, I'm putting myself in your shoes. How do I want to look when I'm going to this event? How do I want to dress? How do I want people to look at me? And
You know
and
why I
see?
said that? Because when I go weddings, I swear, I'm not lying. As soon as I see people, like the suit fit them perfectly.
Yeah.
You know what? That's Hassan, but I gotta ask this guy. Hey, where you got your suit from? Oh, Hassan. I knew it, bro. That's why I'm asking you.
And I've been blessed to be part of this community doing weddings for the last 10 plus years, whatnot. It's an honor to be the guy that I'm dressing you for your big day or any event for that matter. But your wedding is a big day.
You remember?
All eyes are on you.
100%.
Do you remember one of my best friend, Corey? So he's from Cleveland, and this guy really picky. I know him. All his clothes, like
I like those guys.
yes.
I like a challenge. I like a guy that knows what he wants, and he's challenging me to make sure I give him what he wants.
Yep.
So what I mean, so I told him, he said, Tiff, I need somebody like do like nice suit on my body and my wedding day. So I said, you know what? Look, down the street was a guy, his name Hassan. Go to him and just tell him Tiff sent me. I'm gonna call him. After his wedding, he said, man, you did whole group.
Yep.
Man, that guy, like he's a genius. He make the suit really nice. The pictures, the fit, like everything great.
It's not just business for me. It's passion. And just when I say it's about my reputation, it's about who I am. When people speak of you, the way you're speaking right now, it's big. Money can't buy that. Of course, we want to make a living and we want to grow.
But you also want to excel in what you love.
Striving to be better.
Yeah, be passionate.
But I love what I do. I don't consider it work. I never did. Some days I don't feel like going to work, and that's normal. But I love my job. I love what I do.
Hassan, I want to ask you a question. Sorry to cut you off there. It's been sitting in the back of my mind from the very get-go when the first question you were asked. Do you feel like part of what you do with the work that you do, you're carrying legacy? Because like, you kind of like mentioned passion, but more than, no, I mean legacy in the sense, like, especially, our podcast, we are Arab Americans at the end of the day, our stories are from humble beginnings, we all came here humbly, we did the things that were somewhat maybe unconventional, we didn't go out, become doctors, engineers, all the other things that people from back home want to come to America for. But your first thing is you mentioned your grandfather, right? And I like that throwback. Like, I don't know, I see him like, with a cigar. I've never met the guy,
If I remember correctly, man.
Maybe he didn't smoke, but
I was very young at that time, but I've never seen my grandpa unless he was wearing a suit.
Right.
If he was going to buy a loaf of bread, put a suit on, his overcoat, his top hat, and always carried himself very gracefully.
And that was that generation, right? So do you feel like, because you said part of your inspiration for fashion is your grandfather, seeing him, growing up with that. Do you feel that you carry that responsibility at work or in the name or in the passion that you carry?
100%. My name is important for me. My reputation is very important for me. I do what I do, and I feel like it's a responsibility. You're trusting me. I have to give you my best. And I treat every customer like the second, just as important. It's a fun job. For me, it's fun. It's like I said, it's not work, it's fun. I love being around clothes. I love the side of it, the fashion side of it. I enjoy it.
So, I have another question. How many suits should a man have?
And it depends on what you do. But you should always have the basics. Everybody should.
How many you got?
Too much.
A whole shop.
I love suits. I like colors. I like. My taste has changed with the years. Where 10 years ago you might have seen me with a lot of pinks and reds and greens, and I still do, but a little bit more scaled down. With age, but I love an old man that can dress and be confident in his
100%.
colors. A big guy that can put a suit on and be confident. A skinny guy that, every shape and size.
Silhouette is important.
You should be very comfortable in your skin and bring that out. Some people will come and tell me, oh, I'm too old for this. Okay, we can scale it down a little bit, but it's okay to add colors. But back to your answer, you should always have your black, navy, and gray. Everybody should. And I think anybody you ask will tell you the same thing. Then you throw in a couple of tans or browns, Then you get into the plaid. If you wear suits a lot, you need to have a lot of variety. But if you're not wearing a suit all the time, and you don't want to invest
I love suits.
and you don't want to invest in a lot of suits, you should definitely have those basics, because you can always switch the shirt, the tie, and make it look like a different suit.
100%.
Accessorize it. Now, let's talk about, actually there's two things I want to talk about. I want to talk about fabrics, especially with summer coming, or spring, whenever it gets here in Michigan. For silhouettes, what would you recommend fabric wear? You know, wedding season, everything like that. So I know some people, they'll be like, I want a nice 3-piece, I want a woolen suit, I want this, I want that, but you're not thinking about how the fabric's gonna look or how it's gonna feel. If it's too thick, I might end up sweating in the whole thing, you know?
Like wool, you can wear all year round. There's different levels of wool. I always say, always go with wool, a wool blend over polyester. But some polyester mix is very nice and elegant. Like I said, it all depends how many times are you gonna wear that suit.
Right.
If you're wearing a suit to work every day, it's gotta take a beating. You want a better fabric. If you're the kind of guy that's gonna get a plaid that you're gonna wear once and you don't care, still get, because the fabric shows. Yeah. If you get a cheap suit, alter it right, it's gonna give it a better look. But the fabric won't be as good as something as wool or whatnot. Did I answer that right?
Yeah, I think look, we can make an extensive list, or you could just go to Kravat on Ford Road. Now, I want to go one quick question before we forget the topic. You spoke about a lot of the things that you love in this industry. Tell me about the things you hated starting. Like, what were the struggles? What were the pains? What did you have to overcome to reach? Alhamdulillah, we're talking about a person who's successful in what he does. So, what?
Alhamdulillah, when I opened in Dearborn, I was probably one of the few that was in Dearborn at the time. My uncle actually had a shop on Warren, and he was there for a while. People tend to think, no, if they, at the time, it changed a lot. Now there's a lot of stores, the community is thriving, different styles, different levels of fabrics, different, it's good. Yeah. Competition is healthy. The most important thing is I compete with myself on a daily basis. I'm always trying to be better than me the day before. And I think
that's the key, to be honest.
100%. I don't look outside of what I carry, but I know there's a lot of good stores in Dearborn. It gives you more selection for the customer. Different. You might not like what I have. You might not like my price. You might not like the brands that I sell. It gives you more variety. Right. But at the same time, it took a while for people to trust that a local store in Dearborn can do what any other store can do. Whether it's in New York, whether it's in Beverly Hills, whatever. I feel like we're on par with all of them anyways. Yeah. We know how to dress in Dearborn. We have a lot of men in Dearborn that know fashion. So we try to meet that. We try to help people that don't know. So the struggle was in the beginning, people didn't trust and know, oh, if I'm gonna go to Somerset, or I'm gonna go to Neiman's or whatever.
Like me, I was on my way to,
exactly.
You know, but
now you go to Dearborn, you go to Kravat or any of the other stores in Dearborn, a lot of them are amazing.
Each one has different styles,
exactly.
Different offerings, different clientele.
And it's a good thing. It's not a bad thing by any means.
So to build the trust though, like you said in the beginning, trust was the issue, right?
Word of mouth. One come in, telling the other person, like you said, when you see someone at a wedding.
Because for me, your knowledge base on like the key questions you were asking in the beginning told me right off the bat, this is a guy who doesn't just know fabric. He understands the end customer, how they're going to look, how they're going to feel.
Exactly.
I remember you said, what is it? You can't go, I picked some colors, I can't remember what they were, but he turned around and said, you can't go there looking better than the groom. Right, which is a very point. I was like, okay, cool. He's got a point.
I was buttering you up a little bit.
But you know.
Hassan, a lot of people, not a lot of people have like a good budget. Some people, they have low budget. How are you gonna make these guys with low budget? They get out
looking like $1 million.
Like they look $1 million.
Tailoring is key. Attention to detail is key. Like I said, working with someone's body is very important. Tailoring is the number one. You can't pick a suit off the shelf and it fits you. It's not made just for you.
Right.
You gotta always factor in alterations. A good tailor on deck, the person like me taking the measurements for the tailor and explaining to the tailor exactly how I want it, it's key. I ask a customer what he's comfortable with, what he's not comfortable with. Do you like it more fitted? I try to always gear him in the direction of what fashion is now. stay with the changing times, but also be timeless. Sometimes we have things that come out and people think it's cool, it's nice, I feel it. But then I think about it, okay, 2 years from now, am I gonna look at this suit and say, what was I thinking? And it happens a lot, especially with those new trends that are coming out. I always like timeless, I like classic to always be the key.
You talked about, before you said about my people, they don't like my pricing. So that's why I was gonna
No, I like people.
But what I'm saying, when you talked about my people, they don't like your price, which a lot of cheap stores, a lot of cheap.
We're not gonna say cheap. We're gonna say lower end fabrics.
cost-friendly.
You can say that.
Stores.
You
Yes,
can
there
say
is.
that.
Yeah.
And everything, every customer, every store has its own customer.
That's
There's
all.
this guy, and this guy.
That's why I was gonna finish it. So a lot of barbers, they charge $35. A lot of barbers, they charge $100. Why? Because they know how much they worth.
Service is very important, and I know the service that I offer. You're walking in there and you're leaving, everything taken care of.
Time out.
100%.
Just for our viewers, I know in your shop, I just want to kind of sideline on that. How long would it take me to pick a suit in your shop? Because it's not a straightforward process, which I like. If I'm buying a suit and I'm going
The more time you give me, the better, but we work good under pressure. We have a good selection of good variety selection in the store
But what I'm trying to say is, like, you mentioned there's processes that happen. So I could walk into a shop and I can pay, let's say, for example, Macy's, right? I'm not going to say like any other local small business. I can go to Macy's. I could pick a suit for $120. I'm going to walk out. That whole transaction took me 5-10 minutes. I know what I wanted, picked it out, paid for it. With yours, even though it's a smaller, mom and pop shop, if you will, it does a lot more than just off the shelf, right? Because the whole process, when you go in, you're getting measured, you're tailoring, you're going to tell me, okay, I'm going to taper it here for you. Do you want me to lift this for you? Do you want me to change a little bit here for you? You know what I mean? So buying a suit at Kravat is not just a straightforward process, is what I'm trying to say.
It should be a good experience.
It's a very good experience. Like I know when I'm going to come buy a suit at your place, I don't plan to be there for 5 minutes. And even if I do, I end up staying like an hour. Just the conversation is good, wallah. But I'm saying, like, and by the way, I'm not promoting anything here. I'm just talking real talk, right? This is what it is. This is Dearborn, right? This is the level of, alhamdulillah, community that we have where we could just,
to be honest, it's a lot of different though.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Like
it's a
if I go to Macy's and I tell them, somebody there good, I'm gonna tell them, hey, you know what? Please, can you measure like the suit on me? But I'm not gonna be that comfortable with this guy if he gonna do it good or not. But when I go to Hassan, like I know this guy,
exactly,
he not gonna do it. Oh, you know what? Tief, come here. He gonna call me if some mistake
is there,
because he didn't want to be looked
It's what we say in Arabic. You're working with a mu'allim.
Yes, he knows I'm gonna be around people. They're gonna look at me. He didn't want to look bad.
Billboard for me.
Exactly.
I run into that a lot, where someone will tell me it's good, and I'll look at it and I see something I don't like. I'll explain to him why I don't like it, and then he can make the decision. Yeah. But I'm not gonna let him walk out if I feel like something is not 100% satisfactory.
Whereas somewhere else, the employee might just be an employee.
Hassan, I have a client, I swear to God, he has the nicest hair. I hate long hair. I'm not with it at all, bro. He came to me, he told me, Tief, today I'm gonna cut my hair. Bro, don't cut it. It looks good on you. Like, I can cut you right now.
Be honest.
I can make money out of you. Bro, I look really nice on you, and I hate long hair. Don't cut it. He said, Tief, chop it off. Bro, I take the cape out, go cut it with somebody. If you want me to fix it for you, I can fix it. I swear to God, he won different barbershop. They cut him, and he came back, he just fixed it. He looked at himself, bro, why I did that? Why? Bro, he was mad. Everybody, why you cut your hair? Bro, what did I tell you? And he waited after a year and a half
to grow his hair back. Yeah.
I told you gotta listen to me because I know how you're gonna look.
Yeah.
So you gotta just trust me. Same with you. When you're telling me this one doesn't look good, I gotta trust because you look at it different how I look at it.
Expertise, man. Expertise is everything.
The reputation is very important to me. Well, alhamdulillah, if you ask around, I've been around for a long time. I care about what I do, and I love fashion, man. Seeing people looking good and walking out happy is important.
I will never do podcast with somebody it doesn't have good reputation or a good name.
Thank you.
I will never do that, because that one, a lot of people gonna see it. They need like real thing. Now I'm promoting Hassan.
We're presenting the goodness in our community.
That's
at the end of the day,
yes, we are.
Alhamdulillah, I love our community. I'm glad I took a chance on our community. Even though a lot of people try to talk me out of it. Khalas, I wanted to be in Dearborn. I like the way...
I love Dearborn. I love Dearborn Heights.
I love the way our
Michigan.
people dress. We're passionate about the way we dress. We care about the way we look. So do I. I took a chance, and alhamdulillah, look where we're at now. And inshallah, we keep growing and keep doing what we're doing.
I was back in England in May last year, just to see the family and everything, And this time, I don't know, it got a little bit emotional, because like, I'm not saying my parents are getting old, but you can see a little bit like fragility in them, And I said, khalas, I'm moving back, man. I said, I got to move back to England. And, I told the family everything. I said, I'm moving back. I'm going to go to Dearborn. I'm just going to pack my stuff, put the house on sale, and I'm moving back. And I'm genuine, like I really want to do it, I came back to Dearborn. I don't know why, like I had a manusha or something, and that's it. I called my mom. I said, Mom. She said, what? I said, I love you. She said, I know. You're staying in Dearborn. Tell me. I said, Mom, I don't know what it is about this place. It's like
we have a great community.
I don't feel like I'm in America, and I say that in a good way. I love America, by the way.
America's full of different
flavors. But I mean, it's like I see myself. Like I see my community. If you want to tell me Arabs are generous, I see it. I see it in Dearborn. If you want to tell me, Arabs are ghayur, I can tell you I see it. Sometimes, look, we talk bad about each other. But you see a few.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you see overseas, you live in Lebanon, you're gonna see, like most of them, Lebanese people, right?
Oh, hey, see all
But here, like, what I love about that, yes, Lebanese,
Yemeni,
like, and Arabic. I'm living in Arabic country, but different Lebanese, Iraqi, Yemeni, Egypt, like everyone, and you get to meet more people, American people. That's what I love about it.
I love the bonus. Like, also we've got Americans.
Yeah,
which is true though.
I love it.
I do too. I honestly, I wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
I love Iraq, but I don't know.
Look, I think
like it's a home away from home.
Yes, exactly.
Can I say it in the nicest way? Like, what I love about Dearborn is it gives you everything that back home has, including everything back home doesn't have. You know what I mean? Like electricity.
Yes.
I'm talking from Iraq, you understand me? Like electricity on all day long, you understand? But like, jokes aside, I do feel like when I am in Dearborn, I can be myself, you know what I mean? And speaking as a person who's traveled the world a lot, right? Like, even though in England we have a very large Muslim population, but it's not a large Arab Muslim population. So even me as a Muslim, I love my Pakistani people, I love my Indian people, but I'm still not having my Arab food. I'm still not hearing my Arab conversation. When I'm walking around, I don't hear, people talking like me. Whereas in Dearborn, I feel that, I feel like, in a way, there's this invisible community support that exists. You don't need it, but if you want it, it's there. You can tap into it right away. And you guys, alhamdulillah, like part of that culture, right? Even like I tell Hatif all the time, I tell him, you don't understand, like, for me, there's therapy, and I think most guys would agree. Like when you're at a barbershop, girls, when you're at the 100%. Salon, with you, there's that, it's that experience where I feel like, I'm being taken care of. I'm going to look good at the end of this. Like,
and he's not just treating me as a customer.
Yeah, you know what I mean? There's therapy there. Like,
you care about your customer. You care about the way they look.
Me, I don't look at them as a customer. No. I swear. Like, I look at them as
a
friend.
The most important person that's sitting in your chair that day. That's what it for you.
I mean, I'm honored. It's a privilege. If someone's coming to you for, people come to us for a lot of events, interviews, whatever, or even everyday basic streetwear, denim, whatever. But when someone comes to you for his big day, his wedding, it's a big deal. Cameras are on him. everybody's looking at him.
Yes.
Everybody's shaking his hand.
I usually take one, like any client I have in 1 hour. 1 hour we just talk.
And you're making sure he looks good.
Yes. So I was making sure this guy, I usually cut him 1 hour like my client, but when somebody has wedding, like, I'll take more extra. Make sure, like I always do it, make sure, but this guy, you know, I gotta put a little dye on him. I gotta make it a little sharp because a lot of video.
You gotta pay attention to a lot of details.
Yes.
Because that day, everybody's looking at him. Right. Everybody's,
100%.
there's pictures. That's why when we're picking a tux or a suit for a groom, I always tell him, the wedding's gonna be over tomorrow, or Friday, Saturday, Sunday, whatever. But those pictures, when you look at yourself 5 years, 10 years down the road, you wanna be able to look at yourself and say, you know what, I made the right decision.
100%.
Let me ask you a question on that topic.
I have a question for you.
Before you give me my question.
because you was talking. Let me answer you that question.
Okay, go on.
Did you born in England?
Was I born in England? No.
Where you born?
I was born in Kuwait.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a gypsy. I've been around the world. I don't think I've been, other than England, I've never been in a part of the world for, well, England and America now, I'd say for more than 4 years. My family, like most Iraqis,
How old are you when you got to England?
When I got to England, I was 7, I want to say, turning 8. I remember it because I broke my leg.
So you don't have a lot of missing to Iraq?
I don't have a lot of?
Like missing?
Iraq?
Yeah, like homesick.
See, I didn't.
Homesick?
I never, see, my first time I went to Iraq was when I was about in my 20s, I want to say. That was my first time ever going to Iraq.
How long you stayed there?
It was a 2-week process because, you know, the war and everything was still going on. So my experience in Iraq, I want to say, was bittersweet because, again, you know, we're talking about the dysphoria here. For me, growing up in England, I didn't have no cousins, like blood related, you know, no uncles. It was just mom, dad, brothers, sister. That's it. Everybody else in the community is an uncle and a cousin, but they're not like first immediate family. So growing up, you always hear about back home, back home, back home. And we'd always get the phone, you know, like, hey, talk to Teta. And it's like, how are you, Teta? Okay, I love you. And it's the same conversation, right? So I grew up knowing my family through pictures. And that's why for me, legacy is very important. When I ask you about Jiddu, Allah yarhamu, yarhamu amwat al-jami'.
Allah yarhamu.
Legacy is important because I think we're that generation, at least you and I, you know, and Hatif, that grew up with this, we're eternally going to be connected to back home, you know, because there was something there for us. You know, the ones who are born here, maybe they'll just go visit back home, meet their cousins and relatives. But for me, there was this real sense of wanting to go back home. And I met my grandma, Allah yarhamha. And this is the only time I ever saw her. The year after that, or the years after that, shortly she passed away.
Allah
yarhamha. But she wasn't the same person. Like you know, I remember walking up to her and I see, because my grandma in all her pictures is this, like, you know, really strong personality. I see her and she was almost a single mother, you know. And I always grew up hearing her story, like she's a very, very strong woman. And then I see this old lady on like 2 walking sticks, like really short, frail thing, and she's walking out to greet us as we're going there. And I'm with my mum. And I said to her, and I'm walking in a rush because I want to see my grandma. And I walked right past this old lady. And my mom says to me, where you going? I said, I'll go see, like, you know, my grandma, you know, Bibi. And she's like, she's right here. And I turned around and I said, you're shitting me. And she said, yeah. And I couldn't stop crying when I saw her because it made me realize like how much they went through as a family, while when we were kind of like, we take for granted, by the way, real talk, most of us live in here. We take for granted, you know, especially when we get calls from back home saying, you know, can you send us some help, etc., etc. We're like, شو مفكرين حالهم هون نحن عايشين بأمريكا عنا بنك, you know, all that stuff.
Yeah, but the thing, you don't have like a lot of homesick to Iraq. Like me and Hassan, he's in Lebanon.
Yes.
Well, how old are you when you got here?
Well, I wasn't here first. I was in Canada first. Yeah. But I lived in Africa. I was born and raised in Africa. So I never really lived in Lebanon, but I went back when I was
So just me then.
Just you. Look, I'll always be
you-
connected.
I do get
but
homesick
home for me
because
is family.
grandma,
you know.
grandpa.
Yeah, me personally,
Like my
like,
grandpa,
I lived my
remember him
whole
from
life.
Africa, not
Yeah.
from Lebanon.
You
Lebanon,
did.
I was young.
I lived my whole
Yeah,
life
you
in
did.
Iraq, and I came here.
But see, you like okay, you lived in Iraq, so you have friends, you have memories.
A lot.
I didn't have that. You didn't have that. So
Yeah,
the
yeah,
only
I
thing
miss
tying
them.
us back home is family. You know, like memories of loved ones. Like when I go back home, I think, and I'll be honest with you, I go to Iraq on a regular.
Yeah, yeah.
But I go to the ziyara. You know, I don't go to Nasiriyah where like my people are. Right. I don't go there, and it's not. It's a shame on me for not going. I'll be honest with you, but. Again, when you have so much limited time with work, etc., family, and I'm like, I'm gonna go there. I want to go for the ziyarah, because when I go there, I don't know anyone there. You know what I mean? Even though they'll be like, "Oh, this is your cousin from so and so," and I'm like, "I love you," but real talk, like, there's a disconnect. You know, we don't have much conversation to go by. So yeah, I still love back home, but back home for me was a memory. You know, back home for me was loved ones that we were suddenly rushed away from, you know, and now that most of them are buried and gone, you know, home is like here, you know, like so it's going to be the memories that I carry of them. But 2 questions for you. Who is the most famous person you've dressed up in your store?
Teeth.
Okay.
For me, to be honest, he bought this when he said, me, I don't like some people who are, oh, who you got? Bro, I don't care if he's famous.
I don't
care.
don't.
No,
when
see,
I
for me, I
post
got
a
a layup
video
on
of
that.
a haircut,
Yeah.
I let them look to this guy, he's famous. Like how he look, how he...
It's to me,
I don't care
I'm
about-
not caught up with that. But I mean, we've had a few here and there. It's nice, especially if they
helps.
Help the brand.
It helps with the brand.
But now,
100%.
my second
and
question.
it's a trust. I know he's trusting this local
This
small
local
business.
Yep.
I don't consider myself a small business, alhamdulillah. I think very highly of my business and my craft, and you have to be that way. I think everybody should always hold himself to the highest standard.
We live
when
in a
you're doing
world
something.
where you could be a small business, but you can be a big brand.
Big brand.
You understand? So that's a good thing.
Last
But- hold
question
on.
I'm
Wait,
gonna
no,
ask
last
you.
question. No, I'm gonna ask this
No,
one.
no,
I want to ask this
I
one.
have-
Who's
I
the
have
most?
that
I'm gonna keep talking
Three
over you.
words. 3 words. 3 words. You describe your personal style.
I've always liked the English style, by the way. I'm an old soul. I've always liked, like I said, because of my grandpa too. I've always liked old music. I've always loved old fashion. So I've always liked the double-breasted, the big collars, the bold pinstripes. So I always, in my mind, I'm always looking at older fashion and bringing it with a more modern twist. Bring a new flavor to it without going overboard, staying classic and timeless.
Yeah.
What's your favorite brand? Like that brand you're always gonna wear it.
Kravat.
I like that one.
I love my brand. There's a lot. Every year there's something new. You gotta stay on top of it. You gotta stay consistent. You gotta
Italian, French,
one
or
you
British?
one you like different than cravat.
British.
Thank you.
British. I've always liked the English,
I love-
the way they dress. I mean, the Italians, or they're known for their looks or whatever. But I've always liked
Italian,
the
I
English.
don't have the body for. I'm gonna be frank.
Well,
Italian, you gotta have Italian is beautiful, right?
Yeah,
but
this
you
is the
gotta
best.
have, Baba, you gotta have that Italian body. Me, I'm British body, little bit belly, not that I drink.
I think everybody can, like I said, you gotta stay within limits. Of course, if you, my body, I feel like I struggle off the shelf. I have to get everything tailored
bit
to
tailored,
cover
yeah.
my flaws. I feel like I
You
have
struggle, Hassan?
I do.
Come on, bro.
And so when I get a customer that tells me, for example, I'm too big for this, or I'm too small for this, or I'm this, it happens. So yes, you have to tread carefully because you want to hide some flaws and bring out a better picture of that person. It is important.
That's why a lot of people come to you.
Yeah, well,
Because some people they have a little confidence, big courage.
I have a lot of people that tell me, "Oh, you can wear this. You can wear it." No, believe me, I struggle just as much as the next guy. I'm very picky, and there's certain things I feel.
Everyone knows their own flaws.
Yeah, so I feel like there's a lot of things I can't put on me. It's okay. I'll pick something that flatters my body, flatters the way I look, and then if I'm confident in that, I'm comfortable, that's the look I go
That's
for.
the two most important
So
things, confidence.
that one, like I want to know, you learned it or you just see it in your eye? Like you just see it, oh, you know what? That color, let's say blue suit. You always pick colors, like when I come to you or I seen in your store, you put different colors, like years I'm not gonna put them. I'm gonna look at them, it's ugly. But when I came to your store, like I look at them, man, how he put that color with that color? You learned it or you just look at it and you know this color match that color?
Like I said, I don't go by a certain guide. Even when I'm dressing myself, it's how I feel.
You go instinct.
Exactly. I create as I go.
Okay.
Like every time I'm putting something for you, I'm thinking, would I wear this? Also, I challenge myself every time, because when you're dealing with so many people and you're trying to make everybody look different.
That's why you're successful for that. Because you think, oh, can I wear this?
Is it gonna look good?
Yes.
Yeah.
You're not selling, you just want to sell it.
No, I don't.
You sell it?
If I don't have something that you like, I'm not gonna push it on you. As a business owner, I never wanted to be pushy as a salesman myself.
You remind me, I was working at salon. It was 4 of us. Me, you know me. If I need to cut, it's gonna be an hour. They book the client every 15 minutes. Every 15 minutes. And they laugh at me always. Oh man, you take too long. Bro, I'm cutting this guy. I want him when to get out, million people ask him about the haircut.
Exactly.
So how much these guys making? They charge $25 for a haircut. Okay, you cut 4 people, I cut just 1.
But you're taking your time, you're giving him good
taking my
service.
time.
He's
I'm
leaving
being-
happy.
yes.
And you're happy.
And your brand value goes up.
And your brand value goes
You want to laugh at me, but I have a brand, I have a name, people trust.
Exactly.
Your client, if I'm gonna tell him, come here, I'm gonna cut you, he will be too happy. But my client, you're gonna tell him, I'm gonna cut you, no, I'm
Look,
good.
if I said
That's the difference between like what you said, I'm gonna take my time, I'm not rushing.
if I said to you Japanese, German, Chinese manufacturing, which one would you pick?
It depends.
Which-
Japanese for
pick,
denim.
pick which one would you not pick?
Japanese.
Japanese, German, or Chinese? Which one of those would you drop out? You're gonna drop one.
I'm gonna say Japanese.
You're gonna drop the Japanese?
They have the best denim.
No. I'm not saying fabric or anything. I'm just saying general ethics in products coming out of those countries. Quality of products. That's all I'm talking about.
It's hard to say because you can
Because
get some
I'm
really
getting
good,
somewhere
you can
with
get
this.
some really good quality from China.
You can,
And you can
but-
get really bad quality from Italy.
But generally speaking, general rule of thumb, if you say Japanese or German, it's always going to be superior.
That's what I'm saying.
And I'll tell you why.
Japanese, 100%.
Because there is 2 things that these nations have, which I think head and shoulders above every other nation when we talk in general populace, right? Just the general population, is that they actually have pride in the work that they do.
That's I have to agree with you.
You
And
have
I shouldn't
to.
have said
Discipline.
Japanese. The only
Yeah.
reason I said Japanese because the only thing I can think of on the top
Is
of my
denim.
head is denim.
Yeah.
They do have,
It's
they're
just
known for their Japanese denim. It's good
discipline
denim.
in anything they do.
And I'm thinking suits, man. I do denim.
Right.
So I shouldn't say it Japanese.
How long you been like on fashion?
Honestly, that's all I remember. That's all I've ever done. That's all I've liked.
How long you
I've had
been?
other jobs before I got into.
But that's the one that
fashion.
your history is written in. That's it.
Exactly.
Yeah, as
So
far as you can
I've always
remember.
loved fashion. I've loved fashion, and I wanted to do fashion. Like I said, I was almost talked out of doing it in Dearborn.
Okay.
And why Dearborn and this market to this and this and that? But I felt like it's a great market because we love to dress.
I wanna just take us to a segment in this podcast that we hope to achieve. One of the things that Hatif is really big on is giving back to community, not gatekeeping. In your years of experience, specifically in this demographic, Dearborn, if there's a young person out there listening, like yourself, started off in this line of work, there isn't a blueprint for us entrepreneurs, right? And that's part of being an entrepreneur, is that you don't want to follow a blueprint, but you do need some guidance. So what tips would you give to anyone, specifically, for example, we have a lot of young brothers and sisters in the Dearborn community. They're starting their own fashion brand, their own streetwear, their own thing. Besides go for it, what direction would you give them? What things should they take into consideration? What wisdom would you impart as a person who's not only, you know, a business owner, but a person that we turn to for advice when we want to get dressed? Talk to them.
Follow your dream. Do what you want to do. Study the situation. There's always going to be failure. You fall, you get up. You keep trying, keep learning.
Learn.
You keep learning. Learn. Get better. Compete with yourself. Don't look outside of what you're doing, what other people are doing, what other stores are doing. Focus on yourself. See where you can improve every day. And this is what I did. You probably wouldn't believe me when I tell you this. I honestly don't look outside of what I do. I don't compete with anybody. There's a lot of worthy opponents. There's a lot of good stores. There's a lot of good salespeople. There's a lot of people with a lot of good fashion sense around us here, 100%. But my main goal is always me. Right. What I do, what I'm doing the next day. How do
I improve my services, my
every
products,
single day?
my
and
customers?
In my business, I've always, the more business I got, the more successful I became, the better I wanted to become. Because now I feel like there's pressure on me to always live up to the hype and always deliver. I don't want to go backwards as far as what I do, as far as service, quality. I'm always improving my quality. I'm always improving my service. Always focus on yourself.
Always focus on yourself. What is one thing they should avoid doing? Sorry. What is the one big mistake that you would see as, and this doesn't necessarily have to be within the fashion world, but as an entrepreneur, as a person who's starting up, if you could go back and do it again, what is the one thing that you would say, I would avoid doing this because this brought me the most pains?
In my business?
Just as an entrepreneur, startup.
There's a lot of key points, but to me, like I said, the most important thing is don't look at what the next guy is doing. See where you can improve.
Who is the most important person that you've dressed up?
Important?
The most important person you've dressed up. Not the most celebrity, but who's the most important person that to you, like, this meant the most?
There's a lot of them. Honestly, there's a lot of them in this community that I look up to. And I mean, I can name a few, but there's a lot of them that I dressed, that I was honored. I don't want to say a name because then, because there is actually a lot of them. I can throw a few guys out there that it's a privilege and an honor to be able to be trusted by those people for any event. There's quite a few of them in our community, especially. Outside of our community, it's nice, but it's a different vibe when it's someone from your community.
Yeah,
it's more personal.
Yeah,
and I take pride in that. Like,
what's the next step for Kravat?
Continue to grow, continue to get better, and inshallah we will. I feel we will. There's a few things in the works.
Would you ever make a specific for ladies? I know you specialize in menswear.
It's not my specialty. Yeah. I don't want to get into something I don't really understand.
I love that.
As I want to do what I know how to do.
Be the best at what I do.
Be the best at what I do. Yes, I don't want to get into things I don't understand just for the sake of money.
Absolutely.
A lot of people ask me why you don't do colors for hair. Yeah. It's not my thing.
No.
I know to do color. I study it. But I want to focus just haircut.
I worked in women's a little bit before. I do understand it a little bit, but it's not my area of expertise. It's not my
focus on.
It's a clothes, but I like to focus on the haircut and beard.
Exactly.
Which Hassan, we appreciate you.
Thanks
Thank you for your like sharing your talent with us and benefit a lot of people.
Inshallah, ya Rab.
We really appreciate
and
you.
I think Tif got me out of my shell. He knows how I feel about cameras. And,
I told you. Don't worry. Just give us 2 minutes.
It was fun. It was good.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me. And thanks for this fresh haircut.
Thank you so much. Thank you, guys.